Hello my friends, welcome to another episode of Diablo 4. My name is Wilfred. So it's been a while since I've played Diablo 4, mainly because I was kind of not very happy with the Season 1 and 2, and I skipped Season 3 as well. But there's been quite a fair bit of changes in Season 4, so some of my friends advised me to come back. And yes, I mean, if you have friends to play with, definitely Diablo 4 Season 4 onwards seems to be more fun than before. Now, so in this video, I'd like to do a final note on this, what I think about Season 4, because I've completed the journey thanks to my friends' help as well. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what I like about the Season 4 and what I hope to see more changes coming up as well. So now, if you take a look at the Diablo 4, in my mind, is a little bit of conflict between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, of course, because those people who like the kind of darkness of the Diablo 2, the kind of long journey to grinding the item that you want, put a value against it, and so on and so forth. I think a lot of loyal fans kind of stick by it. But then, look, the time has moved on. That was decades ago. Diablo 3 came up with more gratification. People play and get rewarded and come in for cosmetic kind of reward. And after the season ends, just kind of like wait for next season. So I think Blizzard kind of recognized that there need to be a bridge between these two crowds. And of course, they also added the MMO aspect to it, more like a World of Warcraft. So in my head, it's always 3 games inside Diablo 4, D2, D3, and World of Warcraft. And not necessarily is very effective in satisfying all the people out there, because those of you who like D2 may find D4 is heading to the wrong direction. Not sure, but I definitely like the fact that they are bringing so many D3 successful features into D4, right? And I think that is really something I enjoy playing in this season as well. So now, before I get into the various aspects of what I like on the Season 4, definitely just recap on what I've achieved in Season 4. So from a journey perspective, I've completed the journey thanks to my friends' help as well. Like I said, a big shout out to you know who you are, help me to get the last objective done. And very much like D3 as well, if you want to solo the season, it's going to be very difficult, but if you have friends, then it's a lot more enjoyable, the journey there. The battle pass, I've got it sorted as well. That one was pretty easy. I managed to solo the 100 tier 100, the nightmare dungeon, so that is the highest you can get, I believe, and that make my life leveling journey a little bit easier as well. You just need to do a couple of times. You can from 15 to 21 max, which we just there about 2 or 3 times, I think, from a tier 100 nightmare dungeon. And I've managed to also, with my friends, did a tier 100 pit as well. Did farm some pit at tier 100. Enough to say, if I solo, I probably wouldn't be able to make it there. But that's the power of having friends to play together. I also, managed to grow up with friends, contributed my material, and managed to get the done up all the tormented bosses. So that is a level 200 bosses. Those are pretty insane stuff, but they drop a lot of loot as well. I get all my glyph to 21. Masterwork majority, or nearly all the items to rank 4, and I will continue playing the pit until I get a little bit more on that. So I think I've accomplished a lot. I'm really happy. And so the first thing to shout out on this Season 4 funny thing is that I like the cosmetic of the battle pass. Now I always found that the cosmetic in Diablo 4 is insanely expensive. As a live service, they require this kind of revenue to help you help the game get going, which I understand it, because compared to the season kind of mechanic of D3, which is there's no money there, versus what you see in D4, I presume a lot of money from the cosmetic items. It is a vast difference between the two games. And as a player, I'm tempted, of course, with some of these cosmetics that are very, very nicely done up. But I also need to restrain myself not to spend too much on things that is just cosmetic in nature. And the battle pass, in my opinion, is a very, very good value to have. You just pay a couple of dollars net. If you complete the journey, you get some kind of like in-game currency back. So you just a couple of dollars to get so many different cosmetic, from the mount to the mount trophies to the emote to the the actual cosmetic itself. Two variants. One is more of the kind of like very glamorous type. The other is a more casual one. I personally actually like the casual one a lot. This season 4, the cosmetic tends to be a little bit more feminine in nature, so it fits my character pretty well. Because a lot of ARPG, Path of Exile included, their cosmetic are very, very masculine. It's not as feminine as some of these Korean or Japanese kind of ARPG or RPG that they've done it so well. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm happy with the Battle Pass cosmetic kind of direction, and I enjoyed it very much. They've added a pet as well, finally, to pick up the loot. That's about time, isn't it? That is something that D3 have done pretty well. I wish the pet is a little bit more intelligent in terms of converting some of these mats into and some of these items into mats or gold. But I mean, I guess it is an iterative process to get there. The pit, which is a new game mechanic for you to just keep playing the map in a very quick manner, very much exactly like Greater Rift, and that's why D3 is so fun and addictive, because you can go in there, open up a portal, go in, clear the map, spawn the guardian. They even call it guardian in the pit, and down the guardian, get rewarded, come back out and sell the item, do it again. So I think the pit definitely is a very good direction that they have taken. From D3, what is successful into D4, and it's not that hard to earn the currency to open the pit. You just need to do some boring stuff, the MMO bits of it, which I can talk a little bit about that. But all in all, that is pretty pleasant, I would say. It's very odd to play D4 in a kind of D3 game mode, but I get it, right? You need a quick kind of like go in, do something, come back out, go in, do something, come back out, and then after that you get enough material, you can go and improve your item. So I think that is the most enjoyable things I've done in Diablo 4 Season 4 is the pit, bar none. I wouldn't have come back without the pit, really. The loot reborn. So let's talk a little bit about that, because that's what I'm passionate about as an ARPG player. Is that they've simplified the attributes or affixes, make it a little bit more streamlined, so it's easier for you to pick what you want for the 3 out of whatever available. It's still pretty hard to get those power rank, I would say. But all in all, if you are looking for perhaps for a build, you need the crit or attack speed, crit damage, or live, intelligent, those type, you'll get it pretty sorted. It's a lot easier to filter. I mean, look through items. I still don't like the fact that there's no loot filter like last epoch that would just pick up the thing that I want. But I also understood that I need to pick up all the junks for the gold farming as well, which I'll get to it in just a bit. But I welcome the fact that they acknowledge sometimes less is more, so I like that. The aspect have changed, which is great. We all been saying the same thing for Season 1 and 2 is why do you want to keep all these aspect in different kind of items or gear that you need to see whether you get to the max value or not. Now it automatically improves the value of the aspect as you salvage them. They even tell you which one to salvage, which one to sell, which I think is pretty cool. The only thing, guys, that I've been thinking is aspect now is more or less like Kanai Cube in D3, right? You think about it, once you figure out which aspect go into which slot, you always do the same thing. You always imprint the same aspect into the gear, the same slot. Unlike last time, you had to collect the gear, you have to use it one time, and once you use it, it's gone, right? Now you can just imprint it again and again. I would actually challenge the game and say, why not just move everything into a Kanai Cube configuration? You have that many slots. So in D3, for those who haven't played, there are 3 slots for you to put in the aspect now the 4 aspect into the weapon, the jewelry, as well as the body items. So now they expanded aspect to all of them, right? So imagine if you have a Kanai cube concept to put an aspect to all of these things. Isn't it easier, right? Because you do the same thing anyway. So I don't understand why we don't do that. But anyway, I think from an implementation perspective, it kind of get a little bit tougher to kind of get, like when you see a legendary, what you see is not the gear but the aspect, which is essentially right? I mean, how often do you find a legendary with the aspect that you want and with the value that is higher than your current collection? Rarely. So legendary item are just aspect improvement, or just gold or material. Nothing more than that. Just put it into Kanai cube construction. I'll take it. The tempering is interesting because in my head, right, tempering is a little bit like how should I say? It's a little bit like set item in some sense in D3. In a way that most of the set is just to improve a certain power, certain aspect of the power that you use by a great deal, by some great deal, right? So in a way, all these attributes kind of like less generic, more build defining, which I like it. They separate the two in the tempering. I'm hoping that they will continue to have tempering in the game, because I think that is what make the gear more enticing. I don't really like the fact that you break it, but I get it why they have to do it. Otherwise, then what's the point of farming, right? If you don't break the item. So not liking the gambling bit of it is just so many things to gamble. But tempering, I think, is a good kind of like direction to have some of these affixes that is more build defining, like the set items in D3, that is moved into this sort of mechanism. So yeah, I like it. Mastering is very interesting. To me, mastering is almost like, how should I say this? Mastering to me is very much like D3, how we keep grinding Greater Rift to either, level up the dam and or level up a dam to augment an item, right? To make an item more powerful than it is. But I think the mastering take it an improvement of what D3 is, has, and make it able to kind of like keep running the pit to kind of improve all the items one by one, and there's an investment to it, just like augmentation in D3, right? But it's more incremental. D3 is more like once you hit the jam level 125, you through some of this mechanic, then you augment it into the gear, right? So I get it. So yeah, I mean, I like that the mastering a lot as well. I hope they're staying as well, tempering and mastering and aspect. But of course, improvement would always be welcome, and I think what I also like this season is that it's besides easier to pick up the gear or affixes that recognize the affixes that you want. There's something called greater affix, so there's a star to it. It's kind of nice because when you are gearing up to a certain point whereby you already pick up some attribute, you're already mastering it or not, you only focus on those that has a greater affix that relevant to your build, right? Then once you pick it up and say, oh, okay, that is a pretty insane amount of crit damage, you may want to keep that, provided that the other attribute is also good for you. So I kind of like it. It also gives you a trait value as well, I believe. So I like it. And last but not the least, of course, when it comes to the uber unique that a lot of people very much want to farm for it, unlike I think they designed D4 thinking that people from the D2 era that don't mind grinding for months or even years for that one item. No, not really. So we have passed on. In D3 we get what we want, so long as we keep playing. So yeah, I mean, the uber items are more accessible. I'm not saying that they are plentiful. I managed to get something, but not something that is relevant to my build. It's kind of fun to have one uber item out of 10 or 16 runs against the tormented bosses. So yeah, I mean, I was lucky, I'm happy. But I look at my friends, they get 1 or 2 items as well, some of them for that 16 runs. So I get it. I think it's good to have access to that and kind of have some fun build around it as well. So that's a positive bits of it. So now And this season, the Hell Tide is open up for all world here. I'm not sure whether last season was like that, but I wasn't there last season. And there are a lot more mobs that spawned as well. You can actually bump it to 10 level above you, and I thought that was a pretty good thing to have, because after a while it becomes too easy. It's still very easy after 10 level because you are so used to dealing with mobs that are like maybe 50 level above you. So what is the 10 level anyway? But they have a meter there that will spawn more enemies as you hit the different milestones of it. So it seems that it's more action oriented. So I think that is where the so-called fun part is. Now then, let's talk about things that I it's still not quite there for me. All right, what are the things that are still not quite there for me? I absolutely do not like the MMO aspect of this game. I think I waste a lot of time just to travel, just to time myself to the next legion or time myself to the next world boss. A lot of waiting, traveling, and a lot of things that we do actually doesn't really have any challenge at all. Like Helltide, even people find it fun because it kind of drop a lot of things, you pick up a lot of things, but it's not really challenging at all. We'll put it this way, and you know, it just going through the motion to gain the currency, because you need the currency to summon those Uber bosses or the Tormentor bosses. That is about it as well. I still found that the crafting is very high cost. It's very unforgiving because in order to get to the affixes that you're aspiring to have and just experiment, you tend to pay a lot. I mean, I can burn through all my millions of gold until nothing. I have to kind of farm gold again. I have to pick up everything right on the ground to sell green item. The blue item, the yellow item, the legendary item. I pick up everything to sell. Right. I'm like just farming for gold, and it's not necessarily fun compared to other ARPG. I'm not going to name them here. You know my channel, you know other ARPG that I play. Other ARPG is a lot more forgiving when it comes to crafting. Why? Because then you can then experiment things that better in should I have more crit? Should I have more life? You can fine tune things. Fine tuning in this game is very strange. You don't really get to experiment at all. So that lead to my last point is that a lot of us will be reliant on the build guide on the internet, because they figure things out, what attribute is the best, what the board direction should be, Paragon board direction, pick up which of the glyph and so on, and that generally give you a pretty strong character to start with in the season. And because the gap between a build that you figure out yourself based on your understanding of the game is so much different from say you are not experienced from the guides out there. I mean, even the guides are not godly, right? So that make it mandatory in my mind, if you want to go far in a season, to research all these things and just copy what other people do, versus other ARPG that I play that I tend to just experiment what I think will work and swap things out a little bit here and there. And I think, you know, Diablo 4 still have a lot of things to deal with, to improve as well. You know, get to a point whereby there is an armor cap, there is a resistance cap. So once you cap all these things, what can you do with all the the jewelry slot that what jam to jam into it once you hit those threshold, even without trying? Because once you do master working, all your armor start to scale up, or your life start to scale up, or your resistance start to scale up. So unlike other games, it's a lot more variation in terms of the dam that you can put into each slot and do something a little bit different, maybe not just on the defensive but more on DPS as well. So anyway, I'm done with this video. So this is all the thoughts I have. Thank you very much for watching and sharing my journey with you. Make me feel happy as well. I know a lot of you join my channel because I enjoy playing ARPG like you do. I enjoy playing the Diablo 3 like some of you do as well. So is it the right time to come in? I think the right time to come in is during the mid-season, when they land some of these patches to fix some of these, like, you know, super high cost of this and that, and or some of these occurrence that are not just good enough. But I think that you will have some fun playing Diablo 4. Definitely way better than before. Will I be pre-ordering the expansion and all? I did the Ultimate Edition. I fully regretted it. I could have bought it on Steam as well there's so many discounts on Steam and kind of linked to my account, but I didn't know that Deep 4 was heading to a Steam. So no, I'm not going to get the pre-order, the expansion for now, unless it's really good. Sometimes I have to be careful about what they say about the on the news as well, because I think sometimes they over kind of like make this game so much better, but when you dig in a little bit deeper, then you realize that, well, it's not that great, so I am going to be very cautious when it comes to the next expansion. I would likely to get it probably later when it go on a discount, which I see a discount come quite often as well. But anyway, let me know your thought as well. Let me know if you enjoy season 4 as much as I do. All right, see you next time. Goodbye.